There's not as many servers running, computers running. In fact, even the sound system is off out here today. Literally, it's the first time I've walked out here in a long time. I don't move so good anymore. But this is for Trump's security teams and every pretty much corporate America security team or anyone with a yeah small enterprise scale network. I mean, come on, I know home networks that are using some of this shit. So you have, and this is just a hint, okay? It's an opinion derived from others, and very likely going on. I'm not sure. Something worth looking into for anyone managing a network. In this day and age, you've got a bunch of computers floating around on eBay and floating around used, from places like the Server Store out of Carrollton, Texas. Now, those are mostly going to be old search engine appliances and crap like that. Video rendering farm gears. I mean, the good shit, the government shit's generally going to come to you from Maryland or Utah. Ohio's a pretty good source too. And, of course, Alabama. I mean, the boys that are running the auctions out of those scrap piles, kudos to them. But some of the things that are being seen and handled and noticed is, when you get these FPGAs, you have to reprogram them. And a lot of times when you get an older video card, you're going to flash the BIOS just to flash the BIOS. And some of these rendering cards, the AI accelerators from a few years ago, are still in use throughout the government, particularly in a lot of Trump facilities. Notice I didn't say government facilities. Same with computers that still have firmware vulnerabilities that should have been retired years ago. I mean, and I'm going to go back to something that's not currently in use as an illustration just to keep my legal ass covered. Okay, the old Intel Vive chipset. The chipset itself enables security holes. Okay, now there's still several of those computers around. There are many computers around throughout the government that were breached on various forms of built-in IP KVM, IPMI, Dell's Open Manage, whatever. And a lot of that hardware is still floating around. But what you're seeing coming off of eBay, not too recently, within the past year or two though, and it's in proliferation around the country pretty much, hopefully not out of country, is where, okay, I'm not sure if it's the V540 or V340L, but it's one of the old AMD AI accelerators that they were talking about. Now, this is basically two video cards on one card, which is fine. It's a beautiful old school accelerator, and it's not too old. It's still actually quite useful today. More useful than some of the much newer, faster stuff because some of the capabilities weren't strict. But there's a network interface in there because that card is intended to be used as virtual. And what you can do with that card is reflash that network interface, and there's enough space in that card in the VBIOS section to where you can, in the video BIOS section, to where you can leave a nefarious payload that's going to monitor traffic or send something out, whatever you want, or give you a free back door beyond what OpenManage was doing. Well, most of the IP KVM stuff. We're not going to specifically blame OpenManage because most of the breaches that I've ever seen regarding OpenManage have been operator error. They hired a mom and pop computer shop that had never dealt with it, and they got it in, turned it on, and then their high schooler techie kid, oh yeah, it works, it's cool, and never secured it, never locked it down. That kind of thing was the biggest problem. But that's one. Now, one of the bigger things, and it only partially seems to involve the mezzanine cards in some of the servers, mostly blade servers. Uh, but it definitely affects a lot of the bigger network cards, the 40 gig and 100 gig shit and the 25 gig shit, the ones that are coming on FPGAs. Now, those cards are fully programmable. And when you flash them, you can put in pretty much anything you want and make them do pretty much anything you want, and they are a network card. What you guys should be looking for, and I cannot stress enough, this is derived from others, but it's derived from ones that I trust. And it actually, yeah, I can see it happening. I can see it. You know, we don't have any way to know for sure other than physically going in and monitoring a network, which they have the capabilities I don't. My capabilities went away a couple years ago. But, and no, I don't break laws. Go right up to that edge. Touch the gray area, but misdemeanors are free. Felonies, nah, you ain't worth it. But in Florida has their own unauthorized access of the network laws. That's why I have quit playing altogether. Just fuck it. You don't have that protection, you don't do it. And I have no shelter anymore as far as that goes. So, but what you're looking for is old tricks. Like me personally, I used to use a mix of Lantastic and NetBewie, a non-routable custom protocol behind my router. And that way the machines that I wanted to talk to the internet could. And the other ones were only talking to each other. And that lasted for quite a while until Maryland and Virginia figured out that, you know, there's a lot of guys running non-routable protocols. I'm not alone in that, behind their firewall, just naked like that, instead of putting them on a separate network like they should. Because they like the convenience of, you know, their internet-enabled machine can go grab the file that they just finished on that machine over there, or that machine there, and just send it. Some of these FPGAs are able to do that, and I'm not sure if it would be IP or UDP, how they would get it out of there, because I got bored reading all that shit. Pretty sure it would be on UDP though. 99% sure. But you can piggyback one protocol on another, and these FPGAs they do that quite nicely, as do, we all know that the UEFI BIOSes have been compromised, and that's mostly, I'm going to make the joke, Tonopah, Nevada. That, man, how do you say that one without getting in trouble? You know. There's your clue. All it is a clue. That's all I can give you, because boys and girls, they seem to be convinced of it, and it seems to be happening throughout corporate America, but the machines that we all play with are generally coming from eBay and Amazon or other used sources. Like I said, the server store out of Texas, surplus hack out of, what the hell is that? I think that's in Ohio, might be Minnesota. Places like that. So, you know, we're seeing the scraps and tailings. And if these guys are saying that these cards have been altered with nefarious payloads and they're laughing and enjoying it, and nerding out on it and getting blue vein throbbers on how was this done and why was it so fucking simple? Well, I mean, and back on the UEFI thing, that all coming out of Tonopah, whichever way you want to say it. I prefer the joke. I prefer Ton O Pa for that little restaurant that used to be right there on the way in. The UEFI problems have gotten a lot of the little guys, mostly the crypto mining guys and the video rendering farm guys, back away from UEFI BIOSes and um, a old-fashioned, old-school MBR BIOSes because they were a little bit less hackable. Keywords, they're a little bit less hackable. Um, at least somebody had to work for it. And, yeah, okay, you're limited to that 2 terabyte boot drive limit, but at the same time, you can GPT your secondary storage drive all you want. you know, um, Linux loves it. Who gives a shit about Windows? Windows is the biggest security breach on any network. Oh, did I say that out loud? Yeah, I did. In Windows, what was it? Zegex, the exchange, crypto exchange, just got taken down a few months back. I lost something in that. Lost quite a bit in that. Well, for me, it was quite a bit. And that was because the owner carried a damn Windows laptop in on his main net and actually let it connect to his main net where all his wallets and stuff were. So basic security irresponsibility. And that holds true. I mean, Microsoft products, whether it's an Xbox or a Microsoft router or anything. I've even got a couple of little Microsoft Wi-Fi cards that are really easy to punch without a password. Get a secondary back door into, but those were made back in the days when Belkin was just getting bought out by Microsoft or the other way around. I'm not sure how that all worked out. I know Parker Vision fell in there somehow. Parker Vision, man, I miss them guys. They had some beautiful long-range stuff on the cheap, and I miss them. Shit was slower than dog shit, but you couldn't kill it. That was the beautiful thing about it. Yeah, I've got Eris and what was this bridge I took the other day? A bunch of them. And, that particular bridge was taken down because it has a major security problem. A 5-year-old with a copy of Kali Linux could breach that. And that's a hardware vulnerability. It's not anyone hacked the firmware or anything like that. It's an actual natural hardware vulnerability. And that seems to be, I mean, it's just that particular brand. They were great in their time, and then somebody discovered a hole, and the hole has been exploited like everywhere else. Now I've told you about a potential hole that pretty confident is being exploited quite a bit. We don't have IP Viking or anyone like that to watch traffic anymore for us, and you got to go too many places to get a complete map these days. I have enough screens to do it, but fuck, that shit's boring. I'm retired, I'm old, I really want to just be playing with my audio project, but at the moment I've got a whole bunch of crypto miners, well, not a whole bunch, a handful of crypto miners playing with pretty high-end equipment, and I've got a few people playing with video rendering, and I've got one guy that's just now getting into his first render farm, stuff like that. And I do it all pro bono. I'll take on your network for nothing as long as you come get me every day, because I can't physically drive anymore, and I don't even want your money. Everyone in the area knows that I just take you scraps if something's cool and good. Great, it goes on my giveaway pile. If it's really cool and it's interesting to me, it might stay here for an extended 3, 4, 5 months, whatever, while I'm playing with it, or until I get time to play with it. But when I'm done, I still give it away, and everybody knows this. And most of the time, I end up having to scratch the hard drives up for these machines that I give away, because well, it's usually the rules of getting them is you have to destroy, not just take out. You have to destroy the old hard drives, or they keep them. It could go either way. Some of the stuff I get falls under the HIP Act, so I don't even want the drives in my possession once I leave the site um, at all. I just don't trust any form of anything as far as getting caught with something like that in my possession away from the site. I would rather just destroy the drives before I left or hand them to them and let them worry about HIPAA compliance. That second one is my most favorite option. Yeah, as far as I've done lawyers' offices and stuff like that. Um, I've done a lot of I've done computers for federal contractors all over, right? I've worked with all five branches of the government pretty much invisibly. I exist, but I don't exist. Well, I said all five branches of the government. I should have been more specific. All five branches of the military I've worked with over the years somehow, for some reason, whatever. Just to clarify that, it's been since the 90s that I would take anything from any DOJ entity, including BLP. But there you go, that's your clue. And there's also the UEFI BIOSes, that's not the concern. The concern is these network interfaces that are fully programmable. And like I say, the payloads that they found in some of it was either the V540 or V340 AMD AI accelerators, were interesting to them and quite interesting to me. I'd love to see one of those cards up close and personal. But, you know, not really. I mean, unless I kept the machine entirely off the internet. Because I do get stuff through here that belongs to other people, and you don't want anybody's puppy pictures on somebody else's computer. I do concern myself with other people's security quite a bit. I have one little old lady who ended up with full-blown Susie Linux just to keep herself secure on the internet. And I have to ask the question, which three-letter agency is making these firmware hacks? I ask that question because many in my circle of friends are dinosaurs from the newsgroup days. Dinosaurs from the days of CompuServe and AOL and BBSs, and dinosaurs from walking a document across town because it was quicker than faxing it or emailing it. Really. Hey, fuck it. You know what? I'm just going to carry on the floppy. Fuck this shit. What happened to U.S. robotics? And man, Hayes. Missed it. Missed that dial-up noise. And yeah, I'm kind of reminiscing there, but I'm trying to think how to work a couple tidbits in here without it being will be okay. Now, when she had gotten a T7940 Dell, I know it wasn't a 7920 because she was upgrading from a 20 family, so it must have been a 40. It wasn't the UEFI BIOS and it wasn't the firmware that was bothered. That particular one had come with onboard the network interface was fine, but it had this little card in there, Wi-Fi card from factory Dell card. I believe it was Broadcom based. And it had a vulnerability that's not listed on the internet. And the giveaway on that particular one was there was a USB cable, only one-sided, just the four wires that you need. It wasn't the full 8 wires for a standard plug. that went from that Wi-Fi card down to half of a USB port socket, Molex connector, whatever the fuck you want to call it. Surface mount pin connector. I don't give a shit what you call it. I've heard them called so many damn things. Which makes me wonder if there's not a new Broadcom vulnerability floating around out there. But once that device was removed, the attacks on the Linux side of the machine, which I could actually see, went away. And once they were away, I started playing with that card a little bit. Not one that I would want to use, personally. I mean, I don't have anything to hide, but at the same time, I really don't want anybody looking in there while I'm going on all these crazy femdom sites and something, getting the wrong idea of me. You know what I mean? It's an illustration. Also, we're noticing a lot of machines are coming with the drives still in them, and they're coming mostly from like Bureau of Indian Affairs, places like that. Thank God they're not coming from DOD with drives still in them, but you might want to dig into that. And corporate guys, you know, maybe all these VLANs and extra LANs ain't such a good idea. That, or check your shit and lock your firmware down. Lock your programming down, your flash, whatever you want to call it. I call it firmware because you flash a damn card just like you flash firmware. Yeah, okay, it's a USB programmer, I get it. I'm old though. I still use the older terms. And I like to oversimplify, because that's more understandable to people. And it's more comfortable for me too, because I don't have to fucking, oh wow. Let's see, that's precise, instead of just saying that's you know, that's a video card. That's a network interface. That's a network interface that's virtualized. And I mean in the hardware sense of virtualized, designed for that, not when you just create a little mini VLAN like for your VMs and shit. Because that's just software. And, you know, I mean, come on, VMware, you can, I'm not really a fan. I prefer just to load raw. But many of your virtual machine loaders, I noticed that Susan Linux has just replaced and obsolesced one of theirs. They're pretty vulnerable. Just saying. And my friends are usually right about what they find. Just so y'all know, I'm not teasing. It's a derived opinion from others. I haven't had these devices in my hand. I have some similar, many. Well, not many, a good handful though. And understand that, yeah, that's ridiculously easy to fucking do. I can see why you guys are nerding out on this shit. So, there you go. We'll holler at y'all later.